Hello and welcome to Ms. PM Reads Christian Content, where we are continuing in Abscond by GG Wagner. And in our last video, Lyzee's running away because she's being followed and she's nervous about the human traffickers that Milo is involved with. She's on the bus. I don't know. Oh, I think she's headed to Roanoke, Virginia. And beside her sits an older woman who tries to befriend her. She's very wary about letting this lady into her business. But the lady's very kind to her, buys her a cup of coffee at a break. And so Lyzee's thinking it's kind of nice to have her around. I hope she's right. Okay, so this section is titled Arrival. Stepping off the bus, Lyzee squinted into the bright afternoon sun with its warmth filling her. A smile tugged at the corners of her mouth as she took in the mountains, a blue fog hovering over the peaks like a lingering fire camp. Closing her eyes, she tried to imagine the quiet peace that must exist there. Ain't it something? I'd almost forgot how spectacular. Lyzee gasped, opening her eyes to see Novella standing next to her, her eyes fixed on the distant mountains, a dreamy smile on her face. Watching her for a minute, Lyzee thought she looked wistful. She remained quiet, not offering an explanation. Lyzee hesitated, an awkwardness lingering. The rest of the passengers were almost out of sight. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were waiting for me, Lyzee guessed. Yes, dear, I was hoping you would be kind enough to explore with me. I have not been to this place in She doesn't finish her sentence. Lyzee looked past the dark lenses of Novella's glasses and saw that the older woman was deep in thought, her pointer finger touching the other digits of her hand repeatedly. Land sakes, it must be 30 years, Novella said. Where are we? Lyzee asked. How in this world you slept through all that crackling of the intercom, I'll never know, Novella said, chuckling. This here is Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. The driver said we got a 2-hour layover. Something about some routine maintenance. The bus expelled a long hiss as it pulled away, leaving Lyzee and Novella engulfed in a halo of exhaust fumes. Following the cobblestone path leading through a covered breezeway, they finally caught up with the others. Lyzee recognized a mom and her 2 kids from the bus sitting on an intricately carved bench next to the walkway. A young couple from the back were poring over the brochure display. Lyzee stepped into the courtyard surrounded by a Bavarian-style village. Timber frame shops, the color of dark chocolate and white stucco, each adorned with a curved storybook balcony, stood all around her. Trying to take it all in, she spun around, her stomach a little nauseous, probably from the bus fumes. Novella, this place is beautiful. Come on now, time's a-wasting. Lyzee followed Novella in and out of the shops, noticing the amount of detail that carried through. Stopping outside of the beautiful ornate bay window, Lyzee gazed as a fresh batch of caramel or caramel apples were being dipped and garnished. The smell of chocolate wafting through the air that on any other day would have been intoxicating. But right now, she felt a little sick and her temples were pounding. Turning to Novella, her mouth opened in mid-sentence. Lyzee realized she was talking to no one. Where did she go? Lyzee wondered. She flipped her head to the left and right, surveying all around. A heaviness made its way to the pit of her stomach as she felt eyes on the other side of the glass boring through her. Right there, in the middle of what looked to be a candy shop, stood Novella, along with at least a half dozen curious onlookers, all staring at Lyzee. Novella's shoulders hunched and she raised her pointer finger in Lyzee's direction, beckoning with a determined crook of that finger and a look to match. Lyzee knew what she wanted and complied with a sickening drudgery. The bell chirped and Lyzee was greeted with smiles and a chorus of voices chiming, "Welcome!" Lyzee's reply came out smaller than usual, making her cheeks fill with heat. Everyone was looking at her. Novella smiled sweetly in her direction, and Lyzee crossed over to stand next to her. "All right, dear, you pick the prettiest apple, you hear?" Novella instructed the shop worker. The smell of the chocolate and caramel was so strong it was making Lyzee's head swim. While Novella patiently directed the shop girl through the display glass to the perfect apple. Lyzee wandered around the shop, hoping her companion wouldn't be much longer. "No, not that one. Back a row. Now, over yonder. Yes, that's the one, right there. That's it, baby." With the perfect apple purchased, Lyzee followed Novella through the crowd of shoppers until they found a cafe table out of the way, but near enough to the brass band. Lyzee read from an informational plaque close by that described the costumes worn by the group of dancers on stage. The girls wore traditional dresses called dirndl, and the boys in leather shorts called lederhosen. Lyzee watched a group of children as they mimicked the motions of the Flyer song, and a little blue-eyed towhead flashed Lyzee a cheeky smile that made her heart ache. Enthralled by the enchanting ambiance, Lyzee decided to stay here forever. "Land's sake, dear, my dogs is barking. My dogs is barking. I plumb forgot to get napkins. Would you mind?" Novella asked. Lyzee obliged, then settled into the chair across from Novella, a bottle of water and a caramel apple laid out before her. It looked so good. Maybe if she ate something, Lyzee thought, it would help with her headache. Picking up the bottle already opened, Lyzee took a big swig, fighting the reflux to spew it back out, her face wrinkled in disgust. "Did you hear them girls ask me if I wanted my water with gas or without? I gave you with. Land's sake, you should have heard that thing pop when I took off that lid. Hope you don't mind, dear." Wonder what she's drinking, like club soda or something? Curious about the time, Lyzee pulled her phone from her bag. She frowned. The screen was black and needed to stay that way if that is how she was being tracked. Dropping the device back into her bag, she turned to look for a clock and nearly fell out of her chair when the booming voice of the bus driver echoed through the village. "All aboard the bus to Roanoke. We will be departing in 15 minutes. "Guess that's us," Novella said. Once on the bus, Lyzee could not keep her eyes open. She decided on a quick nap, figuring then she could borrow Novella's phone to call an Uber. Maybe sleep and that aspirin Novella gave her is what she needed for this headache to go away. Relaxing into her seat, hugging her backpack, she allowed the bus to lull her to sleep. She woke with a start and the crackling of the intercom interrupting the best sleep she'd gotten in a long time. Yawning with a big stretch, Lyzee tried to clear the cobwebs from her head, but still felt so tired. She looked around in confusion, trying to remember why she was on a bus. Nothing made sense until her eyes fell on Novella, and she smiled. It was nice having a guardian angel, Lyzee thought. "Only a few more hours and we'll be reaching our destination," Novella said. "I need to," Lyzee slurred. Can I use your..." She searched her brain for the word. "Phone," she blurted. "I need to call an Uber." "That ain't no problem. But what's an Uber?" Novella asked. And that's the end of this section. I still have my reservations about Novella, but we'll have to keep reading and see if she really is the good person she's seemingly being. All right, you guys. I hope you have a blessed day and wonderful people in your life. I will see you next time.